Good morning, class. It's now 6:35 in the morning on October 1st for me. I don't know what it is for you while you're looking at this, but anyway, it's still kind of dark outside. I walked my dog. He took his time today. Had to check out lots of areas. Those of you who have dogs know what I'm talking about. Anyway, today we are going to continue with traditional media, and you're going to find that I'm actually going to repeat some of the things I talked about last time concerning history of media and print. I've kind of expanded on some things, added a little more perspective, so I guess it's a way to sort of repeat some information, add a little more information, but then we're going to finish up with out-of-home, TV and out-of-home. And so that's about it. Okay. So we did this before, right? I'm going to move pretty quickly through the stuff we did. Radio, NBC, and CBS, television, NBC, CBS, and more. We talked about out-of-home coming first. Talked about how great this was as a poster in World War I. Here's a nice, rather than the Coca-Cola, I put in something else, which is a little fun with the creative, showing some appetite appeal. By the way, that is a new technology, a company I worked for, helped develop. Back in the old days, when I first started, in fact, in out-of-home advertising, these large signs, which are called painted bulletins, were hand-painted. They had to project, and it was painted in big shops. They had to project images and do the outlines of the images, and then very skilled painters actually painted the images. But with the introduction of large format computer digital printing, a lot of that was developed in Israel, but my company kind of pulled it together. But now all of a sudden, you're able to show a real hamburger, a real chicken, whatever it is, all meat, white chicken. There's a lot more appetite appeal. Obviously, fashion got into out-of-home, etc. These bulletins are the biggest, some of the biggest forms of out-of-home. We talked about local newspapers and President Lincoln. I love reading biographies of Abraham Lincoln. By the way, here's the first national newspaper, USA Today, launched in 1982. That actually was the Gannett Company, the company I worked for 10 years in another division. It was the first national and the first really color newspaper. We talked about magazines. By the way, the word magazine comes from makazin, which is Arabic for storehouse. Interesting new fact for you guys. And you remember the Norman Rockwell. This is Saturday Evening Post, which doesn't exist anymore, but this was 1940. History of network radio. So here's something a new slide for us. Nikola Tesla demonstrated wireless radio in St. Louis in 1893. Many of you know about the Tesla automobile, the all-electric automobile, which is amazing. Beautifully designed, named in honor of Nikola Tesla, who was evidently absolutely a genius, did things with electricity that still amaze us. In 1896, somebody else got the credit. 1919, General Electric buys Marconi and dubs it RCA. A little bit more of the background of RCA, which you remember did the first television broadcast. In 1921, RCA broadcasts a boxing match with Jack Dempsey and somebody Carpentier. And at that point, Westinghouse has stations in Pittsburgh, Boston, Chicago, New York City, the biggest East Coast markets. AT&T develops technology for radio networks and has the idea maybe ads could support it. 1926, GE's Westinghouse and RCA buy out AT&T and launch the NBC, first radio network. And in 1927, Arthur Judson's talent agency starts his own radio network. And that's purchased in 1928 by William S. Paley for $400,000, which is a lot of money in those days. Paley's father made cigars, was a successful entrepreneur, made cigars. Paley, maybe one of the most famous people in television broadcasting, ran the CBS network for years and years. That became CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Paley offers free programming to stations in exchange for blocks of commercial time, and that's the genius of starting the network. By 1938, CBS Radio Network has 122 shows. Now I'm going to play for you some of the famous Orson Welles Mercury Theater War of the Worlds radio broadcast on October 30th, 1938. And we're going to stop here and do that.